Welcome back to lecture number 4 on properties of fluid. This lecture we are going to discuss types of fluid and the science related to this, that is called as rheology. Types of fluid can be classified in various ways. The basic classification is liquid and gases. The another way we can classify types of fluid, that is ideal fluid and real fluid. Ideal fluid, generally the fluid which possesses zero viscosity and it's incompressible, while real fluid which possesses some viscosity, that is called as real fluid. Uh, Today's lecture, we are going to discuss the types of fluid according to the Newton's law of viscosity. So the content of today's lecture, the types of fluid, obviously on the basis of Newton's law of viscosity, and its variation on stress strain diagram, because based on the behavior of these types of fluid and its behavior, we can represent on stress strain diagram. Uh, as per the Newton's law of viscosity, the types of fluid are mainly classified into two, that is Newtonian fluid and non-Newtonian fluid. These are basic categories. So Newtonian fluid, the fluid which follows the Newton's law of viscosity, is known as Newtonian fluid. For such kind of fluids, the dynamic viscosity or mu doesn't change, it remains constant. Uh, because of that, there is a linear relationship between stress and strain. We can represent this behavior of Newtonian fluid on stress strain diagram. So stress strain diagram, it mainly consists on x-axis. We can have a rate of deformation or rate of shear strain. Uh, Generally, ideal fluid which possesses zero viscosity has no stress is required for deformation. So that is called as ideal fluid. On y-axis, we have a shear stress, and generally elastic bodies, which there is no permanent deformation for elastic bodies. When we release the stress, it regains its original shape. So these are the two extreme fluids, that is ideal fluid, which possesses zero viscosity, where there is no stress required to produce unit rate of deformation because there is no resistance. That's why no stress. So that's why such fluids are called as ideal fluids. And the elastic solid, where no deformation, no permanent deformation, we can say, takes place with the application of shear stress. As far as Newtonian fluid is concerned, there is a linear relationship between stress and strain because mu remains constant in this case. So such the behavior of Newtonian fluid on stress strain diagram is a straight line passing through origin. So this is the behavior of, because tau is equal to, and it follows the law, that is tau is equal to mu du by dy. So tau mu du by dy means the fluid which obeys this law, that is called as Newtonian fluid. The types of Newtonian fluid, mainly that is water or kerosene, which then air. These are the types of fluids generally treated as Newtonian fluid, where the shear stress is directly proportional to the shear strain. Under the non-Newtonian fluid, the fluid which do not follow the Newton's law of viscosity is known as non-Newtonian fluid. And for such type of fluid, mu changes with rate of deformation. And because there is a non-linear relationship between the magnitude of shear stress and resulting shear strain, so tau is equal to mu du by dy raised to n. Again, based on the values of n also, the types of fluids can be described in different ways. So blood is a category where the n values may be greater than 1 or maybe less than 1. But there are some fluids where they are treated as the n is less than 1 and n is greater than 1. So non-Newtonian fluid is further classified based on the value of n. So blood, we can say it can be fit in both categories. That is, in some cases, in blood is greater, n value is greater than 1, and in some cases, the blood value is n value is less than 1. So pseudoplastic, uh, in this particular case, n value is less than 1, and again, it is a non-Newtonian type of fluid. And we can say if it is n is less than 1, it follows the law. And this fluid is also called as a shear thinning fluid because with the application of shear stress, the fluid becomes thin. So you can see these applications. So paint, we can say the paint then that is tomato ketchup and paper pulp. So these are the fluids where if we apply the shear stress, then it becomes thin. Uh, where we can experience this many times that paint with when we take on brush, it is a thick fluid, and when we start applying the paint, then it becomes thin. So you can realize from this particular GIF that it becomes thin, it's sprayed everywhere. But if it is in the bucket, it's a thick fluid. Same is the tomato ketchup. When we stir, due to stirring action, it becomes thin, and same is the paper pulp. So this type of fluids can be represented on a shear stress diagram. Here, with the application of shear stress, it becomes thin. So as the stress increases, the deformation increases. So less stress is required later on. So such type of fluid is called as a pseudoplastic fluid. And the another name, it's that is a shear thinning fluid, because with the application of shear stress, the fluid becomes thin. That's why it is called as a shear thinning fluid. Uh, so we have already seen these examples: paint, tomato ketchup, and paper pulp. These are the examples of shear thinning fluid. So we have to remember in shear thinning fluid, N value is less than 1. The second category of non-Newtonian fluid, that is a dilatant fluid. So in this case, the N value is greater than 1, where the viscosity increases with increasing shear stress. So here the examples that slurries. So with the application of shear stress, in this case, the uh, viscosity increases, or uh, the the fluid becomes thick. Again, you can see the butter. If we have experiences the butter, when we stir the buttermilk, the butter comes, and the but that is comes from the fluid. That, and again we can say the atta, where with the application of shear stress, it becomes thick. So the more shear stress is required, we can again represent on a stress strain diagram. So with the application of shear stress, as shear stress increases, more shear stress is required. So rate of deformation decreases with the here the rate of deformation is less compared to the shear stress. Here the rate of deformation is more. So with the application of shear stress, more stress is required to cause a permanent deformation. And this type of fluid is called as a dilatant fluid, which is also called as a shear thinning fluid. If you compare these two types of curves, so in non-Newtonian fluid, there is non-linear relationship between stress and strain, or rate of shear strain. But again, the linear relationship, if it behaves like this, it is called as the shear thinning fluid, because with the application of shear stress, so if we go, if the shear stress increases, the less shear stress is required here for causing deformation, where higher shear stress is required for causing deformation here. So vice versa here. So here we can say the less shear stress is required, and here the more shear stress is required to cause a permanent deformation. So these are the two basic types of non-Newtonian fluid, that is pseudoplastic and dilatant fluid, which are also called as shear thinning and shear thickening fluid, respectively. So there are few more types of non-Newtonian fluid. So that is called as a plastic fluid or Binningham fluid. So here, initially such fluids are solid. So some yield stress is to be exceeded to cause a continuous deformation. And these substances are represented by straight line intersecting the vertical axis at the yield point. So we can say this such fluid is called as a Binningham fluid. So it is also called as ideal fluid, ideal plastic fluid. Uh, so some initial stress is required to cause a permanent deformation. Once that initial stress exceeds, then it causes a permanent deformation. And after that, there is a linear relationship between stress and strain. So even if we see the equation, so after crossing this yield stress, that is the constant, it follows the Newton's law of viscosity. So this is the mathematical equation for Binningham fluid. And in this particular category, if we see the toothpaste, initially it is solid, but when we start applying the stress, then it starts flowing. So we can see the toothpaste, when it is applied on the brush, it is still solid, but when it crosses the initial stress, it becomes a liquid, it starts flowing. So similar category is the drilling mud. Initially it is a solid, then starts flowing. So all semi-solid fluids are generally Binningham fluids, and here the sewages. So these are some examples of plastic fluid, or we can say a Binningham fluid. Uh, the sludge is another example of Binningham fluid or plastic fluid. So the main speciality, some ill stress is to be exceeded to cause a permanent deformation. And after that, it follows a linear relationship between stress and strain. So this is the equation associated with this Binningham fluid or plastic, ideal plastic. Uh, the next fluid, that is thixotropic fluid, it is again a type of non-Newtonian fluid, and it has a non-linear relationship between the magnitude of shear stress and the resulting rate of deformation beyond yield stress. So this is a next version of, we can say, the ideal plastic or Binningham fluid. In this case, after exceeding the yield stress, it causes a deformation, but there is non-linear relationship between stress and strain. So we can see this yield stress is required, but after that, it follows or shear stress varies non-linearly with the shear strain. So such type of fluid is called as a thixotropic fluid. So we can see the example of thixotropic fluid. So the printer's ink is one more example. So after it starts flowing, it behaves like a non-Newtonian fluid. So either a dilatant fluid or a Binningham fluid. Sorry, dilatant or pseudoplastic after crossing the limit. So yield stress. Another example is lipstick. So initially these fluids are semi-solid, and after application of the shear stress, it becomes a liquid. So these are the fluids, and the science related with these fluids, except Newtonian fluid, that is called as a rheology. Uh, the analysis part is beyond the scope of this syllabus. Only the study part is there, but you must know this kind of types of fluids and its representation on stress strain diagram. So in summary, we can revise. Stress strain diagram, that is by taking shear strain or rate of shear strain on x-axis, and by taking shear strain that is on y-axis. There are two extreme cases in this particular graph. The x-axis is the representation of ideal fluid, which possesses zero viscosity. That's why no stress is required to cause deformation, because ideal fluid possesses zero viscosity. And the second extreme case, that is elastic solid, where it doesn't deforms continuously. Elastic solid, even it initially, if we apply the stress, maybe it is a compressive stress, then it deforms, but that is not a permanent deformation. If we release that stress, it regain its original shape. That's why these are the two extreme cases. The fluid which follows Newton's law of viscosity, it is called as a Newtonian fluid, and it generally represented by straight line on stress strain curves, stress strain diagram. The fluid which follows non-linearly, that is the shear stress varies non-linearly with rate of deformation, that is called as non-Newtonian fluid. There are two types of the non-Newtonian fluid, that is one is the pseudoplastic fluid, which is also called as a shear thinning fluid. Such type of fluid, with the application of stress, the fluid becomes thin. And the second fluid, that is called as the dilatant fluid, in this case, with the application of stress, the fluid becomes thick. Another type of non-Newtonian fluid, that is called as ideal plastic, where that is also called as a Binningham fluid. So actually it is a printing mistake. It is not ideal fluid, it is ideal plastic. So here some initial yield stress to be exceeded. So for example, toothpaste. So this fluid is initially solid or semi-solid, but with the application of shear stress, it becomes liquid. So ideal plastic, it follows the Newton's law of viscosity after exceeding the limiting stress, that is yield stress. But there is one more fluid, that is called as thixotropic fluid, which in this particular case, after crossing the yield stress, uh, the shear stress varies non-linearly with the rate of deformation. These are the different types of fluids and its representation on the stress strain diagram. So as far as this syllabus is concerned, its use is only restricted to, we can say, a theoretical concept. So uh, at the end of this particular lecture, you should be able to explain different types of fluid, especially on the basis of Newton's law of viscosity with some practical examples, and also explain the stress strain diagram. With this, we have completed this particular lecture. Thank you very much.